don't think I can do this. I don't think I can actually do this stream. I don't think I actually can. I'm sorry, guys. I like, this is just, it's just grim. He's just such a fucking scumbag, such a worm, and like, you would really think that any like normal adult, after being called out for this kind of behavior, would just like, just go, like, work in an office, Caleb, just like go write articles or something. You don't have to like just make a video explaining why everything is, it's all lies or whatever the fuck he's gonna say. I don't think I can do that's why I've hired Pinko the Clown to watch this video for me instead. Hey! Who's ready for a stream? Hello! Welcome. Look, I gotta be honest, I know I said I'd do this, and I know people want my commentary on it, and I just don't know if I can watch more of this fucking guy. I just, like, especially after everything he's been outed for, like, just like watching a video where he's just gonna like just deny that like any of it's real. I don't know, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can actually do this stream. I don't think I actually can. I'm sorry, guys. I like, this is just, it's just grim. He's just such a fucking scumbag, such a worm, and like, you would really think that any like normal adult, after being called out for this kind of behavior, would just like, just go, like, work in an office, Caleb, just like go write articles or something. You don't have to like just make a video explaining why everything is, it's all lies or whatever the fuck he's gonna say. I don't think I can do it. That's why I've hired Pinko the Clown to watch this video for me instead. Hey! Who's ready for a stream? Hello! Welcome. Look, I gotta be honest, I know I said I'd do this, and I know people want my commentary on it, and I just don't know if I can watch more of this fucking guy. I just, like, especially after everything he's been outed for, like, just like watching a video where he's just gonna like just deny that like any of it's real. I don't know, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can actually do this stream. I don't think I actually can.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicles.
I'm sorry, guys. I like, this is just, it's just grim. He's just such a fucking scumbag, such a worm, and like, you would really think that any like normal adult, after being called out for this kind of behavior would just like just go like work in an office, Caleb. Just like go write articles or something. You don't have to like just make a video explaining why everything it's all lies or whatever the fuck he's gonna say. I don't think I can do. That's why I've hired Pinko the Clown to watch this video for me instead.
Hey everyone, how we doing? Who's ready for a little stream? We're gonna be playing some Resident Evil 3, but today I am actually doing a special stream. Alice is here, and she has a Kickstarter project she's gonna tell us all about. It's called An Insomniac's Delights. You can see it in chat. I've just updated the Nightbot commands, so you should be able to see it. It's going to cycle around regularly. You can also access the same text using the command Alice. So if you put !Alice in the chat, you'll see it. This stream is to raise money for Alice's Kickstarter. So just straightforwardly, that's what it's about. That's what we're doing today. If you're here and enjoying the stream, please consider paying for Alice's comic book. Do you want to tell us a bit about it? The elevator pitch while so I'm going to load up Resident Evil 3 while we're... Ooh, it's not. You go ahead.
Cool. Insomniac's Delights is a horror comic book anthology that's collecting together 7 different types of horror in 7 different stories, and each one's being illustrated by some of the biggest names in indie comics. Which is really exciting. We just need to get all the money to make sure everyone is compensated for their work on the comic, so that we can actually make it as ethically as possible.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Here we go. Cool. Let's start it. So I thought that. Oh no! I've made one small, huge mistake. Shit. Now we can start. Cool. Alright. Welcome to the stream. Val of Lesbos. Great username. Hey Bass Junkie. Hey Carrie Magic. Hey a Little By Furious. Finished with Life. I hope you're okay, Finished with Life. That's a kind of worrying username, to be honest. Chaos Merlin and... Oh yeah, that's everyone so far. Hey, welcome to the stream. If you're just joining us, we're chatting with Alice about her Kickstarter and Insomniac's Delights. It's a 7-story horror anthology.
Yeah.
And, what I thought would be fun, the reason I've picked to play Resident Evil is that... I'm going to go in new game, actually. Let's just do standard. The reason I picked to play Resident Evil, besides it being a horror game, is that the guy who actually... invented Resident Evil in the first place is actually I'm going to turn this down here, and can this move around? No, for fuck's sake. Turn this down here as well. That's better. The guy who invented Resident Evil was actually scared shitless by horror. And a lot of people feel that that's kind of the reason why Resident Evil is so scary, because it's he kind of knew what actually frightens people, and that has significance to your your situation as well.
How Insomniac's Delights came about was initially I had a horrific nightmare.
Yeah.
That just stuck with me for... what was it, a good week or so?
Yeah.
And I wrote it up as a creepypasta, and just sent it to everyone, and everyone confirmed that it was horrifying. And so I basically just... And then I started to write more horror stories just because everything scares me.
I can vouch for this. We've watched a few horror movies together, and you get quite jumpy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with this, because...
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how you handle Resident Evil 3. Yeah.
The last haunted house I did was when I was 8. It did not go well.
It's like a whole haunted city, so it's even better. You get the pervasive sense that you will never escape.
and it will follow you everywhere.
So-
Hooray!
Yay! It's almost like these games are about something beginning with a C.
Some kind of pervasive force in our lives.
Yeah.
So you haven't played any Resident Evil?
No, I've been too scared to. Like, via writing horror, I've obviously been watching and reading a lot more horror.
Yeah.
But like I've figured out that there's like tiers, and so I'm like past for Jennifer's Body and like teen horror tier.
Okay.
And like I can deal with Scream and stuff like that now.
Okay.
But I don't know if I can quite go to like Halloween.
Okay.
Or,
I think I can see that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I do definitely put Scream below Halloween, but
Yeah.
Scream's a pretty scary one though.
It's kind of I don't know. Maybe if there's this thing that like if a film was made a lot earlier, it's easier to watch because you can see the strings being pulled.
Definitely, yeah.
Like for example, American Wealth in London is fine.
Yeah.
The original Thing is fine, but I don't know if I could do like something that was trying to do what both those films did originally now.
Right.
I think there's also like a difference in how horror movies are made now as they were
Well,
back then.
I mean, one difference would be that if they made The Thing now, it would be dog shit because they would try and use
Yeah.
CGI.
But they would also try and make it as realistic and like agony inducing as possible.
Yes, that is true.
Whereas like the original was kind of a bit goofy, and that was kind of part of the charm.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Probably.
I don't know.
I think if there was a good director in charge of The Thing now, it would be made extremely horrifying,
Yeah,
and I would love it and you'd hate it.
yeah.
Okay.
It's because it would like all be body horror. It wouldn't be the sort of like psychological thriller that the original Thing is.
But I think that I do agree with the kind of point that people make that, like with Resident Evil, like when people are actually scared of horror, they make scarier horror.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like you said, the original story for Insomniac's Delights was just one of your nightmares, and it was creepy as hell. I remember you sharing around I remember reading the creepypasta, the original one.
Yeah.
And just like, oh, that's fucking spooky.
No, I was like Become the Child, which I think is going to be the longest story.
Yeah.
Out of the 7. What's happening to her?
She's having a nightmare.
Oh no, I wonder what that's like.
And you're actually the Insomniac of the title Insomniac's Delights.
Yeah. So Insomniac's Delights was like the first title I came up with. I was just sort of like, I need a name for this thing. This works. But then as I've like thought about it, it is actually kind of the perfect name. Because like these are a collection of like the daymares and the nightmares and just like the intrusive thoughts and like other like horrific things that I just like think about while on the tube or like trying to get to sleep at night.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And I've just sort of collated them and given them form so that they can terrorize other people as well as me.
A little present from you. Delights.
Yeah.
It's a collection of your delights. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I also like an oxymoron.
Yeah. Some nice irony there. Yeah.
Should have come.
So how are you liking the artists that you found? You said that they're some of the best artists in indie comics right now.
Yes. So like, when I first reached out to people, I wasn't like aware of just how big of some of the names were.
Yeah.
But I can get the list up actually, because just
that works. I mean, some people might know them.
Yeah, just naming them's good. Just navigating to that. So we have like Sleep Talk, who has like, I just love her style so much because it's this very kind of like sharp, and like graphic in like the art sense, not in the and yeah, I don't know if people know any of these names. Eamon Winkle, who does like a lot of Hellboy
Cool.
art.
Okay.
I don't believe they've like worked for Hellboy, but like has done that sort of like their style really is just designed for horror, and I'm really excited to like see how they bring Jenny Greenteeth to life.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one I quite like to talk about. Jenny Greenteeth.
Yes.
You've a story based on British myth.
Yeah. So for people in the chat who don't know,
Yeah.
Jenny Greenteeth is, I think, like, mostly sort of like a West Midlands, sort of like North and West
Political figure.
England. Yes.
MP for the West Midlands. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. English folktale where Jenny is a witch or a hag or a monster,
Me.
depending on the telling, who like lures children to the shallows of rivers or into the moors.
Queen. We stand.
And then like drowns them. And like obviously back in when she was originally around, that would have been just warning kids not to go near dangerous bodies of water.
Well, that used to be disapproved of in the UK.
Yeah.
Children playing near dangerous, infected bodies of water. But now it's actually currently a Tory policy.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, like rather than getting vaccines in the UK, we just find stagnant water
Just throw them in.
that's been pumped full of industrial sewage.
Yeah.
And then, you just encourage children to play there. It's two birds with one stone, We don't have to fund vaccines, and we don't have to fund public playgrounds.
Yeah. Like, the ones who survive will be immune to most of the diseases. And that's... I do not support this policy. But no, the story Jenny Greenteeth's going to be kind of about how, like, a lot of Celtic myths and, like, Britannic myths and all that sort of stuff, especially in the sort of, like, American-controlled media sphere, are seen as just being, like, Scottish or Irish things.
Yes.
And so, like, the story follows a American family going around the Highlands of Scotland.
Okay.
And, like, wanting the real Scottish experience.
Hilarious.
And they don't really get a Scottish experience, but they definitely get an experience.
Oh, that's fun. Kel McDonald, thank you very much for subscribing. However, we are here today to support Alice's Kickstarter and Insomniac's Delights. It should be in chat regularly. If it's not right now, you can do command !Alice and bring up the link. Oh god, he's got a tentacle. And yeah, that's what this stream is all about. So please check out the link and please support Alice's Kickstarter because we do want to see it funded so we can make this happen.
And thank you, Kira Magic, for donating.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie.
Yeah.
Again, Cal, thank you for subscribing. I'm not sniffing at your contribution to the stream, but we are here for Alice today. Yeah. So how much are you willing to share about the stories, or because
I'm not going to give away any of the twists.
That makes sense.
Or anything like that, but I'm happy to talk about like setup.
So how much do you kind of vary genre? Like how much? Because horror fans are familiar. There's quite a lot within horror.
Yeah. It's like some of them are hard to categorize because they kind of fit into a couple. So,
Yeah.
excuse me. But like there is a fair variety of different like genres in there.
Or the kinds of settings, because Jenny Greenteeth is obviously playing. Although it's modern, you're playing with old myths.
Yes, and it's like kind of both a folk horror and also like a monster movie type thing.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas then there's like Dinner at Bislett Manor, which is sort of like you think it's going to just be like a murder mystery thing, but then like turns into something that's maybe a little bit more Texas Chainsaw or something more gory. And I think that's the goriest. Like then there's like a couple which are haunting stories.
Okay.
And then like one which is like just sort of bombastic body horror. And then
I know the one.
Yeah.
It's so good.
If it encourages people to donate, and it should, because you should respect Nat's taste on these things. Nat is a huge fan.
I'm so excited.
And is really excited about this project. I am too, and I hope that you trust my taste, but I have a feeling that some people in chat trust Nat more than me, and I need you to understand that Nat is very excited about this book.
You lot better make this a real thing. I want to be holding this collection in
Nat wants to hold it in her hands.
Yeah. If you imagine how happy Nat will be if she can hold this book in her hands physically, and then imagine how sad she will be if you don't make that happen. And just return to the age-old saying, giving Sophie's friends money is based, and not giving Sophie's friends money That's cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alice,
Fundamentally.
Alice hasn't read Paul Jennings, so she doesn't understand how high a compliment this is. But for anyone in the chat who's read Paul Jennings' short stories, like the collection has real, like, gorgeous Paul Jennings energy, and I love it.
It does. It definitely does. Extremely Paul Jennings energy. Hey Trans Girl 101, first time chatter, welcome to the stream. We are currently playing some Resident Evil 3 and we are raising money for Alice's Kickstarter. Alice has a Kickstarter project, an Insomniac's Delights, which is a 7 horror story anthology with 7 superb artists. Did you say all of the artists already?
I got to 2 of them.
Okay, right, we'll carry on with that in a second.
Alright.
And shoot some zombies.
Yeah.
Oh Christ. Oh no, not this again.
How many times can you get bit and be okay?
A few.
Alright, at least they're not infectious.
More than Brad. Stupid Brad. Oh Christ, I'm out of I'm oh no, oh no, oh no, oh nuts. Oh nuts. Okay. Yeah, we're raising money for Alice's Kickstarter. You should be able to see the Kickstarter in the chat there. Yeah, and if you don't see it, it's command !Alice. Tell us about some more of the artists.
So we also have Brandon Alabaski, who is doing A Dog and His Lady, which is going to be interesting because like it's entirely from the perspective of a dog, and Brendan's like color palette is trippy as all hell.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited.
I'm excited about that one as well.
How he like is able to like bring that to life and like do this like really distorted perspective.
Yeah. POV dog is good. I'm excited about that one. I know you kind of are playing with the form of comics there a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you've got a little bit of unusual stuff going on. I've been a long-term comics reader probably since I was about 10. And it sounds very like...
Yeah.
I don't really know any other story I've read that's like what you've described for A Dog and His Lady.
I'm really excited to like play with like basically a new form of comic grammar that I've never seen in anything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm super like how much do I want to give away?
No, I think I think if people want to know, they should fund the project so they can see it.
Cool.
Tell us about some more of these artists.
We have Valentine Smith, who is one of the creators.
That's a great name.
Yes.
That sounds like someone who should be solving noir mysteries.
Yeah. She's one of the creators of Blade Maidens, which people might know.
Okay.
And like it just has a very sort of like queer aesthetic, and I just really like it. And then we have Marina Mercia.
Okay.
And last, I always struggle to read Spanish. Can you help?
Jorge Santiago Jr.
There we go. Just never know how J's work. Yeah. And like, I'm just really excited to work with all of them because all of their styles are so unique and different, and I'm just excited for each story is going to be able to be its own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Really cool. Still sort of like, I've organised them in an order that ratchets up the sort of tension and fear and then brings it back down.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And like the last image is one that's just going to leave you sort of crawling.
You've been working on horror stuff for a little while now. You have do you want to talk about She-Wolf a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't sign an NDA. So I wrote a what's it called? A teen horror screenplay about a transgender werewolf who is dealing with being a werewolf, but all the cis people in her life are like too concentrated on the fact that she's trans to be able to like help her with it. And so she has to like go out elsewhere and like find help with like being a werewolf.
Yeah.
And I like pitched it to Warner Brothers, and the person I pitched to told somebody that we happened to both know that it was the best pitch they'd seen in their time at Warner Brothers.
Wow. That's
yeah.
High praise.
Yeah. And then Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, and they got a new CEO. And so like it's kind of dead in the water now. feel like that's as much as I can say without liable happening.
Well, I think the important thing is that I've read it, and She-Wolf is really fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that you have real talent for like horror and I mean storytelling in general. You've always written really, really well, but horror just comes out of you very just very fluently and really like in a very human and emotionally grounded way. And I think that that's like, that's what I want is a world where Alice Quinn Rose is telling horror stories. So that's why this is the kind of point I'm making. That's why I wanted to mention She-Wolf, because I think that like people deserve to know that like you have, I think that we just need to get you writing stuff that's getting published,
Yeah, I mean, because She-Wolf, the movie, is sort of dead in the water, and like, I think right now the film industry is a bit hostile to trans women.
Yeah.
Wild take. I've never heard that before. Yeah, that's crazy.
But like, I was going to say trans people, but honestly, I do keep seeing like a lot of like non-binary characters and trans mass characters in more and more things. But like, like I can't remember the last time I like saw like a trans woman who was actually allowed to like be a trans woman in a thing.
Yeah. We love to exclude dolls. Don't
and
we,
like
folks?
the fact that She-Wolf is entirely about like how TERFs are evil.
Yeah.
And like how they're a cult.
Yeah. It's a good script. It's
in
a
like
really
a
good.
hot fuzz way. You guys, it's so good. It's so good.
I feel like you've moved on from this a lot at this point, but I very much hope that She-Wolf gets made someday as a movie, because it's really good.
I mean, so what I want to do is like make it into like a graphic novel, probably kind of, I don't know, maybe half the size of like an Alan Moore book.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, and like, I don't know, and basically find a publishing house who can then like actually push it as like and market it properly, because I do think it would work well in comics as well as on screen.
Yeah,
it is fully written for.
You've always been a very, very visual writer as well. I think that's why your screenplays work really well, but you're also like comics is a very good medium for you too. And like reading the screenplay for She-Wolf, I feel like I've seen the movie She-Wolf because having read it, it was just such a visually evocative screenplay. Please tell Alice to email about She-Wolf. Okay, Kel would like you to email them. I don't know what that's about, but you can take that under advisement. I don't know what the offer is.
I was going to say, if you hit me up on Twitter, it might be better, because this is going to get buried in chat.
Yeah, that's true. So what's your Twitter?
Alice QR Writer.
Yeah, which should be easy to remember.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Val, thank you so much for pledging. Val says, just put in a pledge. You'll better help fund this project so we can read these comics. Hell yes, absolutely. Thank you, Val. Everyone, we are here to raise money for Alice's Kickstarter. So not only should all of you be clicking on the link in chat and pledging, but whether you can do that, whether you have money to pledge or not, you should also be getting friends in here. You should also be sharing the link around to get more people to pledge. So please do that. Again, whether you have pledged or not, whether you can pledge or not. You can also follow the project, because that will just get it boosted more by Kickstarter.
And
so
also,
you can just go there and follow it.
You can just like give like $1 or £1, and that still helps like get towards the thing. And also I believe the £5 mark is like access to one story.
Okay.
So you still get to like read one of the stories, even if you can only like give a $5.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, Val, it makes me sad as well, because Val says the thought of being depraved of a transgender werewolf movie makes me feel sad. It's like,
yeah, I mean, me too. Again, having read it, like, it's an amazing story.
I described it as like Carrie meets Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Like with a bit of like Get Out modern flavour sprinkled into it. And yeah, just love all the characters, even the ones who are evil.
I get that, definitely. Cal says that they work for Circus Comics, so that's why they want to get in touch.
Okay. I haven't started putting it into a comic format. It's still sat as a screenplay.
Well, now you've got some motivation.
Well, that's exactly.
Fingers crossed.
That's my main thing. Is like I've been thinking I need to like get an agent who can then like put me in contact with places.
I'm in.
Shield Data, I don't know how to delete your message, so
Not yours.
Oh, hey,
I don't know what you...
it's cool. We all want the same thing.
Thank you.
Can you not delete your own message? As a mod?
All right, super cop. Here you go.
Anyway, the most recent posting of Alice's Twitter there is the correct link to Alice's Twitter, so Cal, send her a message on that.
I'm surprised for lowercase words didn't work.
We need to get you geared up.
I think it was that they... Yeah, Shield Data missed out the R after Q.
Okay.
So yeah, you have some other comic plans as well, if you know, down the line.
What are the other ones? The two major comics I also have on the go right now is London 2024, which is going to be a cyberpunk kind of. I guess I've been describing it structure-wise like Sin City.
Yeah.
Where it's not a anthology, but it's also like not just like following like the same group of people.
Yeah,
it's sort of hopping around the city and like giving you a feel of what this city is like.
That makes sense.
And like it's basically going to be like a cyberpunk story, but set in like London 2024. So there's not a bunch of like cybertechnics, and the whole point of that is I want to like strip away all the stuff that makes people think, oh, this could be our horrible future. To point out for like, hey, this is what it's like now.
Yeah. No flying cars, just Tories with drones.
Well, I just think so often people read cyberpunk and think that,
And how do I do that?
like, because it's all sci-fi and everyone has cybernetics and everything, but like this is about a future we could get to.
Yeah.
When really all sci-fi ever written is about the time period it was written in. Well, for the most part, maybe not Ringworld, but yeah. And then the other one is a retelling of 5 different mythological women, basically exploring feminism and sort of like just the place of woman in sort of like Western culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Really cool. Chat, I hope that you're all going through and pledging to the Kickstarter just now. Alice, do you want to tell us about some of your favourite horror movies? Because I feel like that would be a fun kind of place to go.
I mean, it's like most of the stuff I've watched recently is like teen horror.
Yeah.
Because like over the past, from November like last year to like February this year, I just like binged every teen horror movie in like preparation to like figure out how to write She-Wolf. And it's like Jennifer's Body is a masterpiece.
I love Jennifer's Body so much.
And like there's maybe a couple things I would change, but like barely. And it is just a great movie that everyone should watch, and it's not about 9/11. Then Get Out is like I'm giving like such basic answers right now, but Get Out is like near perfect, and I love it, and it's like maybe the movie that made me think that I can watch horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool.
Stepford Wives isn't a horror. There's 2 Stepford Wives movies. One of them is taking the mick out of the premise, and the other I haven't seen.
Right.
But like and there's also that new movie with Chris Pine that I need to watch.
Oh, what's it called? Don't Worry, Darling?
Yeah, but I don't know if that is just Stepford Wives, and they didn't want to call it Stepford Wives because everyone knows the ending of Stepford Wives, or if it's something different. But like,
it gives very Stepford vibes.
Yeah.
I
mean, Stepford's like a verb now. Like,
yeah.
Or adjective, I don't know. What else? My brain's gone blank.
I mean, I think you said it's very basic, but I don't think praising Jordan Peele, should go unsaid. Like he really is an amazing horror writer. We went to see what was it called? Nope together recently.
I had seen it before I went with these two, and I strategically timed when to go to the bathroom because I didn't want to see that scene.
Right.
And also that film helped me realise what it is about horror movies that I struggle with. Okay. Because I always used to think it was like gore or body horror or stuff like that, but like I am fine with werewolf movies for the most part.
Right.
and so I've realised that it's agony. I can't deal with like just people being in agony and that just being shown.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable.
Like sometimes there's other information that's being conveyed when you're seeing someone in agony, but like for the most part it is just, look, aren't you glad you're not them? And just like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
You
I think that you're probably, it's your hypophantasia, right? That's the kind of problem with agony, and that's the same reason that you are the insomniac of the insomniac of Insomniac's Delights, is that you're kind of hyperactive imagination.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know what hypophantasia is, it's basically the opposite of aphantasia, where your internal like canvas or eye or whatever you want to call it is as vivid or like more vivid than like reality. It's like when I imagine like an apple, I can see like the condensation and everything, and it's like a solid object and it's in a space, which makes writing film and comic books really easy, because like when I go through and write a comic book, I write down everything that needs to happen, and then when like figuring out the amount of panels that I need, I'm just like watching the movie in my head and picking out the images that are necessary. But it does mean that like if I've watched a horror movie, my brain can render a perfect image of like me being brutally murdered in the same way as the people in the film.
Right.
And so like I can't remember what it was. I think we watched Dog Walker's The Wall.
Oh yeah.
And we were here, and I went to the bathroom, and when I came back down, there was just like a coat rack or something in like a dark corner, and I like jumped out on my skin and then like ran back into the living room.
Yeah.
Because like I had just like in my head seen something lunge at me. And like
no.
I don't know. It's hard to describe because I'm not physically hallucinating.
Sure, you know it's in your mind.
Yeah,
but
it still feels like it's about to get me.
Yeah.
Because I can see it, so yeah.
I'm
so
getting killed.
Shield Vaden, just to explain why we were watching Dog Walker's The Wall, we watched Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah.
Then Dog Walker's The Wall.
It was a good night.
And then Dan Olsen's
yeah.
Why Dog Walker's The Wall is Bad.
Ah.
And it's a fantastic trilogy that you have to watch in one sitting.
No, I mean, that's true. I had seen The Wall and Doug Walker's The Wall, and Dan Olsen's video just came out.
Yeah.
And you hadn't seen The Wall.
But I had seen Dan Olsen's and Doug Walker's.
And you hadn't seen Doug Walker's.
I hadn't seen any of them.
You hadn't seen anything, right? Yeah.
That was just the best night.
Also, I'd seen
so much fun.
I'd seen Doug Walker's The Wall like when it came out. Like when I was a
like
teenager. When I was like a
yeah.
teenager or something. And like I never really I don't know. These videos have always been bad.
Yeah. That's an accurate summary. Yes.
I just remember being like at film school, and like one of the people in my class was obsessed with him, and occasionally when like they were getting high in their bedroom, like dorm, and like I was hanging out, they would put Doug Walker's stuff on.
Oh my god!
All of his critiques were terrible.
God, that's dire.
Like
that's an abysmal vibe.
It's
The vibes are poor. Can't imagine watching Doug Walker while high. That is truly cursed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of hypophantasia, then you imagine being Doug Walker, and that's just an unbearable agony.
The thing that really got me from Doug Walker's The Wall is that little like weird rat thing.
Oh god, I hate that fucking the horny rat. The fucking horny anime waifu rat. Horrible, just vile.
The thing that made
vibes are so poor.
The thing that made it awful was like that it's only this big.
Yeah.
Like when I thought it was like a full-size monster, I was like, all right, fine, whatever. It's just like a furry or like a character actor at Disneyland. But no, it's like this big, and so it's just gonna crawl around on you, and you won't be able to grab it because it's too fast.
Yeah.
And like now I'm just starting to construct a horror scene with that thing in my brain where like it's like you're trying to get it away from you, but you can't.
I used to have a nightmare like that with like a I guess in the nightmare it was like a gnome.
Yeah.
Like I kind of remember quite vividly that it was in some way supernatural or whatever, and wearing really weird, antiquated clothing. And I was looking out the front window of the living room of my mum's house into the garden, and there were these weird little like plinths in the garden that weren't there in real life, and I was like, that's strange. And then while I was looking at them, Jesus Christ, I just blew myself up. While I was looking at them, there was suddenly this weird little dude like sitting on the furthest plinth away, and I was like, what the hell? And I blinked, and he was like on the nearest one, and I blinked, and he wasn't there, and I just felt myself getting like tackled from behind, and I woke up screaming.
Was this by any chance 2007?
I mean, it wouldn't have been far off then. Why?
Because that's when Blink came out.
I thought you were gonna say that's when Romeo and Juliet came out.
No, that's when the Weeping Angel was like dawned like our generation's subconscious,
Nice.
and I've been
nice.
stuck there ever since.
Finished with Life says, I get that every time I have a nightmare, it takes me ages to fall asleep, even with lights on and music, because my brain is real good at imagining how my nightmare could exist in reality.
Yeah.
I think I've only... it's probably happened more times in total, but I have a most recent time that I couldn't get back to sleep, and it was just like... it was just that Nat had gone to the bathroom, and I was half awake, and when she came back in, and she...
Oh my god.
She came back into the room, and she decided she was going to, like, run to bed because she was cold and she wanted to get under the duvet really fast. So I was half awake and kind of, like, looking over at, like, the shape of Nat in the doorway, and suddenly it just, like, lunged at me. And I started screaming, and she started screaming, and we were just screaming at each other. And we were just screaming at each other.
And we just had to like put all the lights on and just like
Yeah,
try and
it
calm
took me
down
so
for a
long to
while.
chill out enough to go back to sleep, honestly.
Oh no.
It was so bad.
So funny.
I mean, do I tell the creep story?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So my girlfriend and I live on like a ground floor flat, and so like people can just like walk past our bedroom window, and my landlord hasn't yet let me put up curtains, and so like I was sat up at like 4 a.m. By the way, like 4 a.m. like on my phone in like a dark room, and then I just hear this like knock on glass, and I look up, and there's like a figure who is backlit.
Such bad vibes.
It's like it's literally is backlit from like the street lamp in the window, and so I just start screaming, and then like I scream a couple times and like realize that it's a dude, but like by that time that I've realized it's a dude, my girlfriend has woken up because I was screaming.
Yeah.
Noticed the shadow in the thing and has started screaming, and so then we're just both screaming back and forth.
Yeah.
And then once we both sort of like calm down and stop screaming, he's like, "You got a charger?"
I know, that's the wildest shit to me. That's the what.
And
Like,
then Alice just screamed, "Fuck off!"
like, truly, dudes rock. Because, like, you just, like, wake up two women who are fast asleep, and then they, like, scream and scream and scream, and then you just persist.
For what felt like 5 minutes.
Like, you don't, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You don't just, like, leave and be like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. None of this. You just, like, you just ask what you were gonna ask anyway. Unbelievable.
It's like, "You got a charger?" And it's like, "No!
Yeah.
Fuck off!" And so I turned that into one of the stories. Which I think is my favourite story.
It's really good.
And also kind of into the trailer.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it is in the trailer slightly.
It's like the inspiration for the trailer, right?
Yeah, like, it's my favourite of the stories. I think it's like the strongest one. It's the one that fits the format the best.
I'm actually just realizing we could go and watch the
Yeah.
trailer,
Sure.
which I think would be a fun thing to do.
So if I grab some water.
Go ahead, please. And we could maybe chat a bit about how you did it and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's
another
such a
pretty
good
special
trailer.
thing about your Kickstarter is the trailer, which is really good. Insomniac's Delights. There it is.
Well, the trailer kind of came about because of like the ethical policy I'm running the thing with.
Right. Because a lot of people like to
show like art from the thing, but you're not gonna like make anyone do any art for you when you can't pay them.
People tend to have spec pages, and like if you look at a comic book Kickstarter, you'll see that like they have like a good 7 pages or so up on the Kickstarter.
Right.
But I don't have the money to pay all the artists to do spec pages.
Yeah.
And I'm not comfortable asking them to do any work until I have the funds to pay them.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very reasonable.
Yeah, because like, so I made this to show that I know how to do horror.
Yeah, and I think it does. All right, let's watch it. And so, like, this is the vibe of the thing that inspired the creep, but it's also like, you did just film like in your room.
Yeah.
So it's literally like you're just reconstructing on location.
With less screaming. But yeah.
That's true. And one fewer Alice. 100% less screaming, 50% less Alice.
Honestly, if the music makes the knocking less scary. Because
Yeah, I can see that.
before it was just like silent.
Yeah.
And then like you hear the knocks every time I listened to it when I knew it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was coming as well because you told me all about it, but I was still really just like spooky. It's good. I love this show as well. Like you're gonna get grabbed.
This is maybe the most curated shot in the entire film.
You put all your...
Yeah, because obviously we had the whole room.
Put clothes in the floor.
We had the whole room closed. Put lights in there.
That's funny.
I'm not really making YouTube videos anymore, and that's because I'm making comic books now.
Do you watch the rest of it?
Specifically, I've written 7 short...
No, okay.
Are you saying we don't have to, or we should not?
We're going to cover everything. I'm basically saying that the Kickstarter exists.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, and like...
Yeah, well everyone please, like I've been saying,
Yeah.
check out the link. It's there in chat. You can get it again with Command Alice if it's not for you, but it should be.
Credit to Alice's amazing acting. That was like the trailer.
No, you nailed
so
it.
well done.
We've already got to 16% on the Kickstarter as well. When we started tonight, we're on 15, so...
Okay.
Oh,
Bump it up
Yeah.
as a percent, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, tell me more about Doug Walker.
I honestly have purged most of him from my mind. I was never that into any of his videos. It was just like grey noise, like thin grey gruel to just...
What's delightful for me is I never really watched any Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
Like none at all. I think the probably 95% of all Nostalgia Critic I have seen is The Wall, and then the clips of Nostalgia Critic besides The Wall that Dan Olsen uses in that video about it.
Yeah. And all the videos that people did making fun of him.
But I keep on finding myself working with people who literally worked for the Nostalgia Critic, and then they'll just reference like what a horrific, traumatizing time it was to be around.
So like
the font of cringe.
The one good thing that I like think. Do you remember when like YouTube first started to like really hit people with copyright strikes, and it like really hit a lot of creators hard because they had been like review channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like rather than continue to like put up just clips from the movie.
Yeah.
He kind of rewound it and like got him and his like cast like act out scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think was like maybe the only cool thing he ever did. But I also don't presume that those sets were good to work on in any way.
Well, yeah, I mean, also you have to see Smallest Domino, YouTube improves their copyright system.
Yeah.
Biggest domino, Doug Walker's The Wall. Like...
Yeah, because if it wasn't for like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him having to like, you know, act out Inside Out
Exactly.
rather than like just use the clips.
He probably never would have had the idea that he could just make The Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also just like he was like, yeah, I can just make The Wall and it'll be just as good, right? And like fully misunderstand for like
Everything.
what a metaphor is. But one that like I understand him like saying it's distasteful to compare the education system of the 60s.
Yeah.
To
The 50s even.
Like concentration camps in Nazi Germany being distasteful. Okay, that's fair. That's maybe a bit of a fair critique, but also I do think The Wall is doing it very metaphorically.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say Dan Olsen nailed it. It's Homoousian. It's all just like...
Yeah.
It's all one system, right?
Yeah.
You educate your children in a school system this brutal. You wind up putting people in camps. That's the kind of world you're making.
The bit I can't understand is when a giant black eagle
Yes.
flies over London and then gouges out a piece of the earth
Yep.
in its talons.
Yes.
And as it rips it up, it's like a piece of flesh that's bleeding. And Doug Walker's thing of that is like that it's the Oscar bait song, and that he's just like, how
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as an English kid, I was beat over the head with what the Blitz were.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But,
still, the
come
wall is
on.
one of the most effective imagery that, like, still, even if you have been like beaten over the head with it that much, it still seems fresh because of that's how good the wall is. That's how good the animated segments of the wall are.
Yeah. And also, it was made in what, the 80s? When was the wall made? I don't actually know.
I think it was the 80s, right? Nat doesn't know either. I don't know.
70s or 80s. It was because he was a kid in the 60s. So
this is just the plague house, and I hate it. I hate that everyone is coughing. I hate that we've all got this just like long flu. It sucks.
These two got me sick.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex.
It's mean.
Nat's not on screen. You just went. You just went. These two made me sick.
Turning into that dog from freaking wacky races.
Oh my god. No, I'm really not in. No, please stop. I'm just so like tired of the sound of like the sound of throat infections at this point. I'm actually just done with it. It's been like 2 weeks of this.
I feel like it's been even longer.
It's been 3 days for me.
Yeah,
But
I
I feel like I've just been sick since we got back from Armenia.
The new dog Pokemon looks like money.
That is actually true. Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah.
Hey, cough much?
No. She did it!
What did I do? I didn't do anything.
So you know any jokes? No, I'm gonna do that. How long have you been working on Insomniac Lights now? Like, when was that initial Nightmare Creepypasta?
I honestly can't remember.
Alex was over.
Alright.
The creepypasta, the creep stuff happened. It was when Alex came up.
Okay.
It's
So, like May?
During the summer?
yeah. So I can work backwards. The thing launched on October 20th. The Kickstarter launched October 20th.
Mm-hmm.
September. Most of October was just me getting the Kickstarter ready.
Yeah.
September was like entirely consumed by like personal stuff, so I didn't work on it that month.
Mm-hmm.
So like probably did most of the writing and planning in August.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like I've active work about like 2.5 months or so.
Okay. I'm gonna try more Resident Evil, though I was getting completely wrecked in it just now.
Resi Wreck.
Yeah. So what happens when I don't play it for a little while, and then I try and just like casually stream Resident Evil. Shows that I am just a casual.
Come on, everyone. We can get to 17%.
I think we can. Everyone, if you're enjoying the stream, please consider paying for Alice's horror anthology of 7 spooky little stories with superb different artists. It's going to be really good if we can get it funded, and that's what we want to do. So please check out the link in chat.
You gotta pay those artists fairly.
Also, Alice is here right now, so if any of you have questions about the anthology or about horror or anything else that you want to ask Alice...
Yeah, or comics.
Comics, yeah, exactly, totally. You were recently on a podcast, speaking of comics.
Yes, and I forgot to plug my Kickstarter.
Oh, fuck.
But, yeah, so there's a podcast called Abolish Arkham.
Yeah.
Where the two hosts are PhD students, and they're discussing police abolition and prison abolition through the lens of Gotham and Batman.
Yes.
And I went on there to talk about Harley Quinn and restorative justice, and how do we expect people to move forwards after doing harm and being harmed.
Yeah. Which I think Harley Quinn is a very good character to talk about.
Because she has murdered a lot of people, but
yes,
but also she's done that. Half of the murders she's done have been when the government put a bomb in her head and told her to kill or be killed.
Yeah.
And it's
again relatable.
Yeah, but she's a very easy one to look at as we can forgive people who have done harm because you can understand the conditions that led to her doing harm so well.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bomb put in my head by the government and forced to do evil things as well. So that's just, and it definitely wasn't advanced psychosis. But Harley Quinn also has advanced psychosis, so there's another reason why she is blameless for everything.
Oh, no, yeah, she has gone from being DC's Deadpool to basically there's no other character like her now.
Yeah, totally. No, she's become a lot more interesting, definitely, and just a lot more.
She's also become DC's
unique.
fourth pillar.
Yeah, you really think so?
DC have said that they are moving to make her one their fourth pillar.
Wow, that's so cool.
Along with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
I didn't realize that. That's really cool.
And frankly, she does stuff some people have argued that that's not deserved, but I also think that she does something that those three don't.
Well, some people argue for free market economics, so I don't really rate people's opinions that highly. Stab.
But no, it's she is a female power fantasy, whereas Wonder Woman is what men think a female power fantasy are.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah.
Can we put some bullets together? Yes, here we go. That's more like it. Oh, there were just also bullets there. I didn't even need to... Okay. I'm making my own bullets for nothing.
Vordrella, yeah. I learned a while back Harley has a daughter she kept away from the Joker. It's when we find that out, I'm thinking Birds of Prey, it's heartbreaking.
Wow.
Because she's fighting Black Canary, and then Black Canary stops to vomit into a bucket. And then Harley realizes that that's morning sickness vomit. And just sits down and refuses to fight her anymore. And then tells Diane about the time she got pregnant and went away to her sister's and left the kid at her sister's. And then when she came back, the Joker hadn't even noticed she'd been gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's in era 2 of Harley, where she's realizing the Joker's bad for her, but hasn't quite emancipated herself yet.
Right. I'm just gonna stab these dead bodies with my fire knife. Please carry on.
Ooh. I mean, that was kind of the thing. It's I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you something that happened pre-crisis.
I don't think it's a spoiler to talk about comics in general.
Yeah.
I love comics, but I'm not reading that many comics.
Yeah. First time chat, fuzzy numbers. I love Pinko the Clown.
Oh.
As a furry, I feel our highest goal should be to become fluffy covered clowns that bring joy into people's lives.
Probably a good take. Although, don't disregard claiming as much territory as possible by just peeing everywhere you go. I think that's probably a valuable highest goal for furries. Just stink the place up, and in common law, we will own the world by just peeing everywhere. So I don't sell furries short necessarily by just, clowns is fine, but we could have so much more. For those who are just joining us, we are talking to Alice Quinn Rose, who is my dear close friend and is also currently running a Kickstarter called an Insomniac's Delights. Does this guy need stabbing? Oh, this guy's gonna jump up later, but I can't stab him now preemptively, and that sucks. That's so annoying.
There's zombies who are just set dressing.
Yes. There are also zombies who... Yeah, exactly. Just to confuse you. There are also zombies who are seemingly set dressing, and then they will fuck you up later on.
I mean, that's good design.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good design. I just wish that I could take them out ahead of time.
I'd love to design a haunted house. That would be really fun. But then never walk through it.
But you need to playtest it to know what to do.
No, I know where everything is. And I'm going to be scared just with the lights being off. I don't need things jumping out at me.
True.
Just put me in a room that's dark and my brain will fill it with horrors. Like, that's enough.
Yeah, you just have free horror movies all the time. Powerful.
It's great. Well, it's like a sandbox video game, and like when I watch a new horror movie, it's like I brought some DLC, and I have a bunch of new characters I can place in the sandbox.
I need to nip to the bathroom.
Oh no.
So, as I said before, chat, if you have any questions for Alice, please ask her while she's here. I will be 5 minutes, and I'm just going to leave you with chat. So, chat, please ask questions. Please, it can be about anything really. If you don't have any questions about horror or comics or the anthology, but those ones obviously would be preferred.
That's where we need. Has anyone got any questions? Nat, you got any questions?
I'm trying to think of questions.
Just trying to think of questions. I thought there was a heat lamp then.
What's the scariest story in your anthology?
I mean, that's a subjective question.
It is. To you, what's the scariest?
To me,
yeah.
I've experienced all of them because, both in writing them, I've had to visualize them and, gone through the horror. But then also, they've all been inspired by different things I've, been through. Like, A Dog and His Lady, I try to rectify the fact that, most people see dogs as cute, but I see dogs as, kind of scary, throat-ripping machines.
To address the balance.
Yeah, and so, I try to tell a story that, gives credence to both those perspectives via context.
It does, yeah.
But, for child or is probably the scariest because it's the one with the least answers.
Yes.
The first and last one, and this is why they're the first and last one, end on notes where you, all the toys go back in the box.
Yes.
You kind of understand everything that happened and it goes back in the box. And then, as the stories progress, you start to, your hand gets held less.
Yeah.
And so, it's the child is the peak of that, and I think it is the scariest one because it's all just interpretative and you have no idea what this thing is.
Yeah.
Or what it wanted. And, and I don't want to say too much because, already the log line, I think, gives too much away.
Can confirm from having read the stories, I agree. I concur that is the scariest one too.
Because of the ending or all of it?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
It was originally a heterosexual couple as well, a young heterosexual couple. but I've made it like a two gay men now.
I think that adds
'Cause,
something
yeah.
to it.
I don't know if it quite adds something, but it does like bring. Like you wouldn't have seen this type of sort of like story about like Babadook-esque story.
Yeah.
With two gay men, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Here we go. What are some of your favourite comics that aren't from Marvel or DC? Right now, I have been reading Stick and Poke. I can't remember the names of the people who write it, but it's on Webtoons, and it's just this like cool queer vibe. It's about this like trans woman who gets a job as a social media manager for her favourite band, and just like her basically having to figure out how to be an adult in that ridiculously like chaotic space. Snot Girl is similar, but it's about like an influencer whose life just sort of gets turned upside down because she's dysfunctional as all hell.
I love Snot Girl.
What's some others? There's like loads that I love. I'm just trying to remember them because titles are hard.
I think Sophie read Snot Girl before transition and just decided to become her.
Become Lottie.
Yeah.
I thought Cute Girl might be where she was going. Yeah, there's plenty more, but I just can't think of them off the top of my head right this second. Where else were we? I'm too out of it with Fever to ask proper relevant questions. Same. So what's your favourite dinosaur? Growing up it was always Diplodocus. Now probably just Velociraptor. Because I can usually make the noise and I usually communicate with friends by making the noise. But right now I'm too congested to do that for you.
No.
I'm sorry.
They're missing out.
I'm not being serious about the letterbox. This is referring to a previous joke. Don't worry about it. I don't know what I've read some of that means. Yeah. I hate having a cough. But no, yeah. We just need money to pay the artists and the printing fees. And then, like, shipping costs is already included in the thing. So, yeah, I just really want to make this thing.
Yeah.
And if this, like, doesn't work out, then maybe I'll, like, crowdsource each story. Because that would be, like, a smaller goal that would be more manageable to do. And then can do, like, one final thing to, like, do, like, a whole print run of the whole thing. But yeah, I just really want to do it. Kelm C. Donald, I was talking about Stick and Poke. I've read some of that, and I've read some. Yeah, they're both really good. I found out about Stick and Poke recently, and it's really good.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, if anyone's like on Webtoons, which I know there's been some drama about it recently, with how it's kind of disrespected a lot of creators. But like, if you're on Webtoons, After Dark is another good one, by Ali someone. It's like a werewolf story, and it's just like a nice, the style, the art style is gorgeous, and like it's really well paced. And like, I don't typically like canvas styled comics, but like it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's my main issue with like online comics, is they're not in page format.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that like page format is where most of the storytelling happens. Like how you lay out panels, what shape the panels are, the size of them, if they're overlaying each other or not. All of that like says so much about the story and conveys what the story is and what's happening. Whereas if it's just like canvas format, then it's just each panel is just stacked on top of each other as you scroll.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming there's grammar you can do with that, and it's still like an emerging format, and it's like people are still experimenting with it. But I don't know. I can't imagine how to have fun with it. I've still enjoyed most of the comics I've read in that format though. Ooh, okay. I don't know how to just keep talking.
That's always my trouble when Sophie goes off to pee. If I'm streaming with Sophie, I'm like, what do I say now?
This is the thing. I'm a writer, and like, one of the things for an artist is to know when to put the paintbrush down. Yeah. And also my throat hurts, so I'm trying not to like talk endlessly. Yeah. What percentage of the thing are we on right now? It'd be cool if we could get to 20%. We're still like sad at 16%. No one has donated since the last time I said 16%.
Donate!
So come on. We need to pay the artists fairly, because too often are artists expected to do hours and hours of unpaid work just for the sheer hope that they might one day be paid for that work. I don't want to pay anyone an exposure. I need to like properly like pay everyone, and in order to do that, I need your contributions. So please help. Please help.
I want it in my hands.
Nat needs it in her hands. So if you're not doing it for me and the artist, do it for Nat.
Yeah, please. Please, I mean it.
Yeah, I agree. Having having page turns at the right place in the comics is super important, and the infinite scroll can work, but Webtoons purchases, oh god, that everything changed. Everyone to rush there, so there's no time to think about experiment. Yeah. Webtoons is basically YouTube of comics.
Right.
They have like an original format which is like YouTube originals. But like it used to be either like if your comic did well enough for long enough, then they gave you a portion of like the proceeds that they raised.
Right.
Like how YouTube does it.
Yeah.
But they've since decided to just stop doing that. And so a bunch of like artists have like rejected the platform and gone to Comic Sex.
From the site now.
The only artists who are making money from the site are ones whose work is labelled in original.
Right. Shit.
Yeah. I work in comics, so I got a lot of comic opinions. Yeah, we should talk on Twitter later. Favorite fonts? Korean New? Because I'm a writer who trained in screen.
What's your worst comic opinion?
I mean, this is the thing. I think all my opinions are good.
That is the problem.
That's the challenge.
Like, what is the one that might me get in the most trouble?
Yeah.
Is that Snyder and Frank Miller are bad at telling comic book stories.
That's your best comic opinion.
But it is the one. Those are the two opinions that get me into the most boiling water on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one that will get you surrounded.
I did not realise how intense Snyder stands were.
Oh, they suck. They're really bad.
I did not realise how diehard they are. And they're just like, oh, but his movies are like I critiqued his colour grading as being just grey, orange, and teal.
Yeah,
I hate the colour grading so much.
And then like all of them were like, oh, but look at all these frames, and it's like, cool, that's just grey, orange, and teal, like I said.
Yeah.
Just because it's bright and saturated doesn't mean it's good. Like there's no balance or anything. It's like he just did it's all muddy and washed out.
There is a bit there's a bit in Justice League that this is truly a low and petty criticism, but there is this bit of ADRing in Justice League that haunts me. Right. Yeah, you know exactly. Right. So Bruce Wayne has been looking at the map of the boxes, because the three boxes are going to be brought together to do the thing, right? The MacGuffins.
They're like father boxes, are they?
Sure, whatever.
Sorry, I know DC lore, I just don't know if he's up to it.
I think that's what it was.
Cool, okay.
And
the Tesseract.
Batman, the world's greatest detective, has figured out that there are these special boxes because when he blew up a Bugman, it left behind an imprint of 3 boxes on the wall.
Picture, like
he just blew up a random parademon, and that's like, I meant DC nerd if anyone is counting.
Like when he blew up the demon,
there's no logic. There's nothing to follow in that movie.
It left like a map of what Steppenwolf is looking for.
For why?
For why? Why
not
is that
who.
something that would be the case? Why would you like?
It's also you do your big like massive 3-hour movie and you don't do Darkseid.
Yeah.
Like,
no, exactly. Yeah.
Because you're saving him for a bigger movie, is that going to suppose? What? It's,
And so-
it's like...
Batman and Wonder Woman, or Bruce and Diana, because they're in civilian mode, are walking by the lake and talking about the case and what's going on. And they've ADR'd this line so that he's in the middle of describing about these boxes, and then he carries on talking. But it's just the weirdest cut, like...
Can you find it online?
No.
I
No, I won't be... No, it's really hard to find, and it just haunts me. Like, it's just so fucking bad. They did fix it in the Snyder Cut, though, so you know what? Clearly the Snyder Cut is a masterpiece, and it fixed all the problems.
Yeah, including all of Jared Leto's like weird Taliban-coded homophobia.
Oh, God.
Like
Jared fucking Leto.
What? Yeah, but in like Batman's nightmare or whatever it is in
Yeah.
like the weird desert area,
Yeah.
the Joker appears dressed as a Taliban member,
Oh my god.
and is just making a bunch of like threats of having sex with Batman, basically, which is homophobia.
Yeah.
Like if you're just showing homosexuality to be a threat,
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
the homophobia.
Yeah. Gotta love Zack Snyder. Gotta fucking love Zack Snyder. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This classic villain mistake, to have your henchmen reveal your evil plan when they blow up.
Well, that's what happens when you get goons from the discount goon warehouse. You know, you can get more of them, but when they blow up, they will reveal your whole plan.
Yeah, like, then maybe you don't, like... if you have an army of golems, don't have the, like, whole plan written on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
But
Division of
I-
labor.
I know what my most, my maybe worst comic book take is.
Right.
I don't like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Ooh.
You're a big Harley Quinn fan.
Yeah.
It was very surprising when
I-
you didn't. Yeah.
I don't like her as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I think, like, I never know how to pronounce her second name, and I always forget her first name.
Kelly Quaker.
Yeah. Is it Kelly or Kelsey?
Kaylee.
Kaylee.
Kelly Quaker?
I think.
Yeah, Kaylee Cuoco from, like, the Harley Quinn TV show is doing it perfectly
Kelly Quaker.
for what that show is. But, like, I don't know, Margot Robbie's character just feels like she's performing insanity rather than having like a kind of like basis of like it being a psychosis or something. And she's just sort of like quirky and like crazy. And then also she'll occasionally drop like a line, like a little line about psychology to prove that she is a psychologist. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have, like, any of the heart of Harley, in my opinion, which is that Harley is, like, this grounded community person who, like, came to Coney Island in, like, her third era after abandoning the Joker, and, like, set up this entire, like, basically rebuilt Coney Island through mutual aid and, like, just helping people.
So you didn't feel like that was there in Birds of Prey?
No,
I thought her being the core of the community was kind of the point of that.
I thought her being in that movie was weird at all.
Huh.
If you cut her out of the movie, it functions exactly the same. She's just there so that they can put Harley Quinn in the movie.
I mean, I'm not here to defend DC movies. Like, I think they are universally
No,
just kind of
that movie's good,
porridge.
but she's just there. There's no reason that she's there.
Oof.
She's just there. And also, it's not an emancipation. The Joker breaks up with her. She gets sad about it because her boyfriend dumped her. And then she overhears her, like, friends shit talking about how she's going to run back to him. And then blows her face chemicals. She didn't, like, have an epiphany about how he is abusive and manipulative and she is better off without him. She's just sort of like, oh, people think that I can be walked all over.
Prince Infidel in chat, and I think this was something I was going to say, is I feel like most of that has to do with the script more than the actress. But they agree with you.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I am describing that movie specifically. I never vibed with her, like, take.
Yeah, fair enough.
And, like, maybe she never got a proper run. Like, the best I saw of her was in The Suicide Squad.
I quite like the Suicide Squad. I like the imaginative bits where it showed, like,
Yeah.
her seeing it as, like, fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there's and like I liked when we saw her flat, and it was interesting. I don't know, the movie's just weird.
Because I've been writing about kaiju and giants for a little while, I have a gripe with the Suicide Squad, which is that they call the big starfish a kaiju, but technically, it's not a kaiju, because kaiju in Japanese means strange beast, and definitionally, just a big version of an already existing animal can't actually be a kaiju. Now I'm saying that like in my essay, I go as far as just like including in just like giants, just like big dudes in my essay. So I'm not one to throw stones about the.
Right?
Yeah,
I suppose so.
So it's not an already
but also it
existing
spits
animal.
out small. It spits out smaller starfish to like control you.
I thought that was based on. I don't know anything
It's
about
an alien.
starfish.
It's an alien. Staryu is an alien who is like in the comics.
Val of Lesbos very correctly saying, I feel like starfish are already strange beasts. You know what? You got me there. You have got me there. It would be significantly different to just having like a big dog or something.
And
However, in biblical terms,
You don't know that.
They don't.
They might.
I do know
starfish have light sensing cells.
They don't have giant eyeballs in the middle of their star.
You don't know that.
They don't look like that. That's a strange beast, Sophie. That's a strange beast.
Is that all we have to do? So we can have a giant dog as long as it has 3 eyes, and it's a kaiju now.
Yeah.
But if only
They
has,
defeat it by rubbing its belly.
I mean, did you watch what's that movie called? The one with the giant white gorilla and the rock. Raid.
The lighthouse? I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a movie with a giant like monster wolf, a giant white gorilla, like albino gorilla, and a giant weird crocodile, and the rock's in it too.
Was that Jungle Cruise?
Was it Jungle Cruise?
No, it's called Raid.
Raid.
It's
We
based
did
on
go
it's
to
based on an
Jungle
arcade
Cruise.
game.
No idea. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. I do agree. Most of it does have to do with the script. Rampage. There we go.
Rampage. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Just because you did a kaiju video, I wasn't sure if you've like.
No, I mean, I take stock of the fact that most kaiju movies are kind of garbage. But, like, I don't go into a lot of detail of, like, examining every single one. I do... It does end with a very, very, very serious socio-political analysis of King Kong versus Godzilla. The deep meaning, the deep lore.
No, I've heard the analysis. It's really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing the video.
Oh, I'm glad you think so.
Yeah.
But...
People need to donate to the Kickstarter.
Exactly. We're here to raise money for Alice's Kickstarter. So everyone, Alice is raising money to make a horror anthology. 7 spooky stories with 7 superb artists. The link is in the chat. If you're not seeing it right now, you can do command !Alice, and you should get it. And I really, really, really want you to all go through and pledge to the Kickstarter, because this anthology should get made. Alice should get published in general. She's a fantastic horror writer. I've been, blown away by everything that she's written, and like I just would really love for her to be out there making stuff. I really want this to be made. Nat desperately wants to physically hold the book in her hands. Look at Nat's hands.
If like 4.
Look at these tiny little hands, right?
It's so small.
Look how small they are.
I need
Right?
to grab it.
She wants to hold the book in her tiny little hands,
Yeah.
and you can make that happen. If you go to the Kickstarter and pledge.
I love comic little anthologies of like spooky comic stories. It's like just my favorite thing, actually, and I want it. I want it. Make it happen.
If like 5 of you go and like get a physical book from the Kickstarter, we're gonna be like over 17%.
Very nice. Okay.
So just go do that.
Yeah. Also, if you have already pledged, or if you haven't because you can't, or whatever, you can also do a couple more things that would help. So you can share the link, put it on social media, put it on your least favorite social media site, Twitter. I'm just guessing. Or put it on your most favorite social media site. I have no idea what that would be. They're all kind of garbage. And just tell friends about it and tell them to pledge. You can also follow the project on Kickstarter, and then that would just like help generally because Kickstarter will boost it more if more people follow it. I think
Kickstarter did actually pick it as a project they love, which is something that isn't algorithmically done. It means that somebody physically from Kickstarter physically saw the page and was like, "This is really good. I want to give this a little sticker." That means that people will see it more.
That's what I thought when I saw it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Base Junkie says, I think Steve Shive had a video about how Godzilla vs. King Kong was in essence a pro wrestling movie, lol. So you're going to make me break out in hives because what happens is when people talk about other YouTubers' takes about stuff, when I'm trying to like convey political ideas, and then someone's like, "It's not that that's a wrong take, babe. Just don't tell me about it. I just don't. It's gonna make me like start gagging. It's a problem. It's my problem, to be clear. It's not your problem. But don't tell me about that. I don't need to know. It's gonna make me physically ill. Just please don't tell me about it."
When you're writing a script, especially.
Yeah, the worst possible time you can tell me is while I'm writing a script.
Because you don't want other people's opinions forming in your head.
Yeah.
Getting in the way of your takes, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't even know. It just makes me mad, and then it makes my body breaks down, and I die.
It's also, you use movies and games to, like, have conversations about, like, politics.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk about... Yeah, exactly.
You're not just giving your take on the movie.
Exactly. Like, I think that Godzilla vs. Kong is essentially a pro wrestling movie is fine. It's a fine...
It doesn't say anything about the movie.
Fine thing to say about the movie.
You know what I think? Godzilla vs. King Kong is a dog shit movie. It's absolutely crap. It is fucking dull.
It's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie.
A core plot point is that the Hollow Earth is real. And King Kong lives there. It's a bad fucking movie.
Well, King Kong's from there. And there's there's just, yeah. I do like, yeah. I don't know. It is a very fun movie, though.
There's definitely fun bits to it, but I feel like it was, like, not, like, well put together at all.
It's a bad movie.
There's definitely fun things. Like, I love to see Big Monster go smash. Like, it's undeniable.
Lo-Fi Lemonade says, Godzilla vs. Kong was so fun if you drank 40s and a Four Loko with friends. Right, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie to have your brain switched off.
I should have watched it with like other people, and then I'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
What's that?
Sorry, I'm slow reader. Just reading someone else. Clem said that like Kickstarter is good because it gets browsed a lot, and it's like if your project's like 20 or 75%, then most people will like hop on it because it looks like it's like about to go.
Okay.
It's like, if we can get to like 20%, that would be great.
Let's do it.
Well, I mean, we're nearly there, right? We're at 16%. So if we could get everyone here to go pledge now,
we'll just wait.
Yeah,
we're not going to say anything until you pledge.
Just stony silence.
There's what, like 8 of you here? Like, let's go.
We definitely.
Yeah, I know we have to. I'm just...
I wasn't. I was trying to read the thing.
Oh, sorry.
Someone in the thing said the word talk.
Unless I'm reading this, it's just glyphs.
All language is just glyphs.
That's how... But I mean, it just looks like a bunch of images to me.
Uh-huh.
Like, dyslexia weird like that.
Should I play some more Resident Evil? Or do you want to have a good playing some Resident Evil? Would you enjoy that?
I don't know how the controls work. And I'm not good on keyboards, so... I think I'll rather watch you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just...
Okay. That's fair. That's reasonable. That's okay. Let's play some more Resident Evil.
I mean, this was growing up as well when, like... I was around my mum's friend's house and like that friend had a son and I was like forced to play with them. They would just be playing a video game that's one player and I'd just be watching.
Applause.
So it's kind of just like how I've engaged with video games in general. Where are we at?
Oh, the controller has disconnected.
Oh no.
Yeah, that sucks.
Come on, everyone, we can do this.
So, do you read many horror comics?
Yes. I'm really bad at for names of them. At one point, I went to the comic book shop in round Tottenham Court Road.
Okay.
I'm not giving it free press. And they have like a grab bag situation where like it's £2 for like between 4 to 5 comics.
Okay.
Which is like all single issues, but it's like really good because it's like £2.
Okay.
And so like I picked up like 3 of those that seemed to have a bunch of horror stuff in them, and then also like got a bunch of horror books and like dropped like probably a good £50 of birthday money on just like horror comics, trying to research how it's done.
That's cute.
You gave me Immortal Hulk, and I haven't been able to read the second one yet, but the first one was like eye-opening with like what you can do in comic form.
Immortal Hulk is a very good.
Yeah, like there's this one page in Immortal Hulk where, basically, so the Hulk has like just landed in someone's front garden, and he's like walking backwards away from the Hulk. But how they show that is just like 6 panels, on one page, where he's progressive. The staircase behind him is moving, and he's like, I can't describe it perfectly. But basically, it's really clear that he's just like walking backwards up the stairs.
Right.
And then as like the Hulk is like pushing forwards in on him, and it's just really good.
There's just a good sense of momentum across.
Yeah, and it's just like you can like feel that motion. Whereas like another page that does that is like that first page from Watchmen.
Yeah.
But I honestly think unless you watch Watchmen as the motion graphic novel, it doesn't really have that sense of motion.
Oh, okay.
Like it doesn't feel like the crane shot it's meant to for me. Yeah.
Gotcha. People in chat, what are your favorite comics? Especially if they're horror comics, I'd love to discuss about them. I'm a long-term comics nerd, as mentioned before.
How did you get into comics?
I think Batman first.
Yeah? You got in pre-52, right?
Oh, yeah, way before.
Yeah.
I had nearly collected the entire canon of Batman. Wow. And then they reset the canon
and then
with the new 52, and I quit DC.
Yeah, in a rage.
On principle, I was so angry. It was my first consumer boycott ever. I was like, fuck this. Then I got really into Spider-Man. And my brother gave me a big bag full of his old comics, so there was a bunch of Grendel and Hellboy and loads of like indie stuff there as well. And I'd only been into like really, really, really mainstream stuff before, so it really blew my mind. Just like picking up some indie issues of stuff.
Yeah.
There are like there are occasionally like weird in-jokes that are entirely in because it's only me. It's an in-joke with just myself that are just like jokes from those comics specifically. Like a bit where someone's threatening the prison warden in this weird comedy single indie thing they had. The prison warden's a really weird guy. He looks like the guy on the front of the Pringles tube.
Okay. And
they're threatening him with a gun. And they put the gun right in his face. And he just starts sulking on it. It just pops into my head like once every like a random sometime once every month. And I'm just getting on with, I'm just washing the dishes or something. I'm just like, what the fuck was that? That was so weird. But comics are great, you know. They can do so many strange different things that many other medium can't. I think
my journey into comics was slightly weird. Like my dad had some of the Spider-Man Clone Saga.
Oh, cute.
So like I read those, and then I attempted to like pick up some like Batman, but I just had no idea what was going on, and I got like one of the sort of like mid-story single issues around a court of owls.
Right.
And like I had no idea what was happening, so I had no idea how to get into it.
Batman and Spider-Man are very, very, very strange canon to put side by side, because Batman takes itself very seriously. Like, deep changes to the nature of characters.
The Rogues Gallery is identical.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But, like, you got, like, the Batman canon takes itself so seriously, and everyone is, like, almost a mythical figure. Yeah. Right? And, like, changes to the nature of their canon is a big deal. And Spider-Man, it's just like, Spider-Man's been cloned this week. There are 2 Spider-Man now. This character might wind up being a second Spider-Man for 20 more years. We might just have a new Spider-Man forever now. Also, the Rhino is back, and he's transgender now. Or, like, they just fuck with it constantly. It's just like, Spider-Man is in a blender at all moments.
But, like, so basically that's Batman experience, like, kind of threw me for a long time.
Yeah.
And I then read, I found trade paperbacks, and I read the first, basically I went to a comic book shop in Birmingham, and they, like, showed me, like, because I was perceived as a boy and was, like, 11. And so, like, they showed me Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I got the first 3 trades of that. And, like, it was fine. Yeah. Didn't sit with me amazingly. And
well, that's because it was Ultimate.
Yeah, and then New 52 happened, and it was like, oh, so I can just pick up issue 1 of anything now.
Right, yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
I was be able to do it. And so I picked up issue 1 of Harley Quinn and read it week by week.
Cute.
And, like, that's how I go into comics. And then, like, because I just know... And basically, if you want to get into Marvel or DC, or at least DC, you can speak if this is true to Marvel... pick a character, Google that character's name, reading order, and then just read through the list.
I'd say that's pretty much true. Effiatoria, no, Rhino is not trans now. I'm just giving an example of the kind of, like, level of change to characterization that is considered completely fine on, like, a week-to-week basis on the Spider-Man writers. I think that Marvel is fairly good at starting and ending things very self-containedly, so I think that you can often pick up most any trade paperback of a Marvel thing. There are particularly prolific runs, like particularly significant ones. I remember the Iron Man run that was... Who was it?
It's the song where they explore alcoholism.
Yeah. There was a really, really, really long Iron Man run that was like 12 volumes or something, and it was probably one of the longest runs there's been in recent Marvel storytelling, and it was because just before the start of this entire run there was the Iron Man movies, and so they were like, okay, Iron Man's a big deal, we should definitely do like a big Iron Man thing and like really work the character and put him through a long story. It kind of lost momentum towards the end, and they didn't really, like, they didn't have a clear vision they were working through the whole time.
They just wanted to, like, push him hard because they knew he was a moneymaker.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Hi, Lorcan.
Hey, Lorcan. But, you read Spider-Man, and it might have the same, like, numbers. It might have, like, volumes 1 through 12, but you pick up, like, number 7, and it's just, like, a completely self-contained adventure where Spider-Man goes for pie.
This is the thing with, like, Batman as well. Personally, because like Detective Comics is like on issue 1270
exactly,
something. Whereas then there's Batman, which is on issue like 500 and something.
Yes.
But then there's also Robin.
Yes.
And then there's Robins.
Yes.
There's like Batgirls.
Yes.
There's like Nightwing and Catwoman, which are both Bat books. Poison Ivy's entire like solo series that she's had this year has also been labeled a Batman book.
I do like the conception. I do like that the concept of Nightwing as a superhero is separate and distinct from Robin. Is he's like, if Batman wasn't an asshole.
Yeah.
Philosophically, Dick Grayson was like, you don't have to do any of the shit you do to do this job.
If Batman was happier.
Yes.
If Batman was less of an emo.
If Batman went to therapy one time.
Yeah. Just had one tiny little breakthrough where he was like, oh, I can be happy sometimes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, look, and welcome to the stream. For anyone who's joined recently, we are raising money for Alice's Kickstarter. Alice has a fantastic Kickstarter called An Insomniac's Delights. It is a comic book horror anthology, 7 spooky stories with 7 superb artists, and it's really worth checking out and really, really worth pledging to. So check out the link in chat. If you're not seeing it right now, you can do command !Alice, and it should bring it up. And we'd really like to get it up to, was it 20%? And then...
Yeah, like if we can get it to 20, it's on 16 right now.
Yeah.
Each percentage is about like 5-ish, physical books for people to buy.
Okay.
And so like if we can get to 20%, when people see it on Kickstarter, they'll be much more likely to then donate to it.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because then they'll be like, oh, cool, so this is actually doing well.
Chaos Melon says it once took my housemate an hour just to rank the Bat Fam / Robins, so it's kind of intimidating to me now.
I mean, there's 4 male Robins and there's like 3 Batgirls.
Right,
it's not that many.
I
I can name them all. I can name most.
I don't think I know all the Batgirls. I think I know everybody else.
So the Robins we have
Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, Damian Wayne.
Cool. Stephanie Brown is a Batgirl now.
Right, but she was a Robin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's
Barbara
Gordon is the first Batgirl.
Yep.
There's Stephanie, and then there's Cassandra, who's known as Orphan.
Okay.
Because she's the reason
I
she's
love these stupid goth kids so much.
The reason she's known as Orphan is because she was like part of Rash Ghul's club.
Okay.
And that was her like assassin name.
Sure.
And yeah.
Okay.
And then there's also Batwoman.
Yes.
Who is occasionally with the Bat Fam, but she's kind of just
Cassandra Cain. I thought she was Cassandra Cain.
She's
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But she's kind of just there. Like when she turns up in a Batman comic, I'm like, oh,
okay.
Yeah, hi, I like you, but hi.
And then Alfred and Batman.
Yeah.
10 characters.
Yeah, and arguably Harley.
Harley is sometimes in the family, I guess. Yeah.
Much more now, like that's kind of her main thing.
Oh, and I suppose Selena Kyle is the Bat family.
And like if we're going extended with that, then you can argue Clown Killer as well right now.
Okay.
Clown Hunter.
I don't think ranking them would take an hour.
I mean, maybe that person's had a lot of opinions, and they were like, "Oh, but who do I put in spot 6?"
Well, I'm not. It's not like a ranking. It's my ranking of characters I like the most. You have to have allowances for.
Text.
I think they are a bad person.
Yeah.
But I like them, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like
Batwoman is for top of that list of 10, but she is also way too authoritarian and a bit weird.
Right. I think that I think breaking free of of that, the top of my list is both probably the nicest person and my favorite character in the Bat family, Dick Grayson.
I was gonna say Tim.
Tim's okay, but he's kind of a nerd.
Really? I see Tim as like the Michelangelo of the squad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's fine.
He's the gay one.
You don't think Dick Grayson is gay?
I mean, not canonically.
I don't care about the canon. I care about his huge popped collar and like bell-bottom outfit that he was in the original Nightwing comics in the 70s. That boy is fabulous.
and the fact that like everyone shipped him and Batman through all of the 60s.
He's a little gay boy. He was the first one to put on the tights by choice.
He didn't wear tights.
Even better.
He just wore hot pants.
And he shaved his legs.
Yeah. For aerodynamics.
For aerodynamics, yeah.
I'm not trans, I'm just really into swimming.
Yeah, exactly. The next Batwoman is Dick Grayson.
Oh, actually, that's a good one. Which of the Bat farmers most would you be least surprised to come out as trans?
Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
Because he's a stinky little egg boy and he sucks so bad.
That one's honestly fair. Also, to be honest, if Barbara Gordon turned around and like started calling like, going by he him, like
Yeah. I can see that.
I wouldn't be that surprised.
No, I can see that.
Yeah. I feel like Batwoman might be a bit of a dick about it for a bit.
I think it's Dick. For me, it's Dick Grayson. Tim is up there. Tim's pretty good, but Tim's probably under Alfred. So it's like Dick, Alfred, Tim, Barbara. This is where I get into my. They suck, but I really like them. Right? Again, Damien.
Are we also?
He's a stinky boy, but I really like him.
Are we just doing like the core like 5? Is that?
No, I
okay,
mean,
cool.
you know, I mean, the less significant characters are like kind of less significant to me as well. But
That's fair. I mean, I was more thinking like my top would probably be like Harley and Selena and
That makes
Batwoman.
sense.
Yeah.
that makes sense. Actually, I do really like Selena Kyle.
Yeah. Anyone who hasn't seen DC live action movies have been trash for the past decade, but DC animated movies have been hit and miss, but mostly good. But like Catwoman Hunted just feels like a couple comic book like nerds were given free reign to use whatever characters they wanted to make a Catwoman movie, and they were just like constantly making puns.
Aww.
Like it's Catwoman and Batwoman, and at one point they have to fight villains who are cat and bat themed.
That's fun. That's what you want.
And then like there's this whole thing at the end where like a giant crate is just like dropped into a pier.
Well, Drell says you're 18.5% now.
What? Wow.
Apparently. Which means that we're really close, guys. If people here who haven't pledged already, go and pledge now. Or if you have, and you go and tell your friends, your family, whoever you think could be interested, any comic book fans in your life, to go and pledge. We could get to 20% by the end of the stream. We'll be going for about half an hour more, so just like...
Also,
go tell people.
Even if you're not that into horror or comics, but you know someone who is, Christmas is coming up.
That's true. You know, you could pledge and then help it get made, and then you could give it to the maker.
Excuse us. The front door's been bricked up. It's the plague house.
I will be putting on my full body bandage after this.
Yeah.
Just walking around, trying to infect other people.
Just fully gender bent negative man cosplays.
Yeah. Nat, do you have any comic book opinions? You don't really read that many comics.
Not really. My opinion is that I really, really, really want to read Alice's comics.
Which one? There's 4.
All of them. But this one in particular, Insomniac Deligh.
In a way, you've both read.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the beautiful art that's going to get made for it.
Yeah, I'm very hyped about the beautiful art. What about the horrific art?
Did you get through the full list of artists before?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did, right? Jorge was the last one.
Yes.
Cool.
Just because I wasn't sure how to pronounce his name.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always feel bad about, but I am dyslexic and it's the second language.
You don't learn until you learn.
Prince Infidel says Batwoman is Kate Kane, who is different from Cassandra Cain. I hate Batman so much. I hate the Batman.
Is Kate?
It just sucks.
Like Cassie's daughter? Is that how it does works?
Kate Kane is Kane, and Cassandra Cain is Ke.
Cassandra Cain, I think, is one of the Batgirls.
Yeah, but they're not. They're different. They're different
no.
spellings even, so they're not even related, I guess.
No, yeah, they're not. Like Cassandra is I think orphan, and
Jesus Christ.
Kate is Batwoman, who's also I think like Bruce's cousin, which is like. So does he just give you like a paycheck to buy your own shaped Batarangs? Like, I want to see the tax returns for all of the like laser cut throwing knives in the shapes of like bluebirds and redbirds and bats and other bats.
This is what I like about, as I say, about Spider-Man. When they have to write in a new person into the Spider-Man universe, they have to have a reason. In Batman, it's like, I basically just hired a new person.
Yeah.
Like, he's a billionaire, so he can just hire a new one.
Yeah.
Anytime.
But he makes a deal out of it of like, we're a family.
Right, exactly. Whereas Spider-Man has like reasons to encounter people, and like the writers have to like push themselves just like a little bit.
And also like with Peter, when he's like being really empathetic and like, I need to get you to a hospital, mate. It makes sense because he's like a working kid from Queens.
Yeah.
Whereas when Batman is just like going in and like killing everyone, it's like, yeah, that's kind of, I expect that from a billionaire who wants to play dress up as a bat and scare poor people.
Yeah.
Which is why I love the Batman, because the Batman perfectly encapsulates
that he's a loser and a dumbass and a
yeah,
fascist. Yeah,
because he's like an idiot rich boy who has a bad coping strategy, and the fact that he eats shit when he's trying to be cool is great. That is the best scene in the movie.
Him smacking into the bridge is very,
It's
very
so good because he's like, I'm so cool, and then just totally eats shit. I'm so happy they undercut the awesomeness of that. What that would have been otherwise, because it just speaks volumes.
It was so good. He literally goes into a trash can. Like, he swoops into the bridge, and then he rolls down the street and just, like, goes into garbage. It's so funny.
I believe it was, like, bounces off a bus. which is, like, the transit of the poor.
Yeah. 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 All the working class people of Gotham just cheer on the bus. The bus driver's like, we just hit a billionaire. They're like, yeah!
It's great. Also, the opening scene, which, like, any other Batman movie would have played as cool, for him coming in and, like, you know, saving this guy and beating all these guys up. But, like, it's cool at the beginning, because there is, like, a gang victimizing a single person. But it goes on for so long, and it just becomes like, okay, mate, like, they get it.
Yeah.
Just,
no, it's like
just leave.
Every element of it, I think, is really carefully constructed to show him as bad. Like, it's like, it takes so long. He's just, like, beating their asses for just such a long time.
Yeah.
He's not like flipping around and shit. It's not like a cool choreograph. He's just punching dudes.
He's just wearing, like, knight's armor.
Yeah.
So that they can't do anything to him.
Exactly.
And he's just, like, killing them.
At the end of it, the victim is worried that he'll start attacking him next.
Yeah.
Right? The different possible targets of, like, who he could be going after that night include some protesters who are like firebombing a bank for stealing everyone's fucking money, right? And it's like he's talking about, like, the criminals are afraid of me, and it shows, like, the protesters at the bank are afraid that he might show up, and it's like, yeah, I don't think I like this guy, actually.
I like, my second favourite bit is, like, when he's looking through Selina's eyes with some, like, magic gadget-y thing.
Yeah.
And she's, like, undercover at a nightclub, and he keeps asking her to, like, basically pimp herself out and to, like, put herself in danger.
Yeah.
But because he's, like, this sort of, like, out-of-touch rich white guy, he doesn't understand what he's actually asking of her.
Not at all.
And so when, like, she goes to the bathroom and is like, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. He's like, what are you on about? Just do it.
Yeah.
And then she, like, cuts him off. And it's
like, a great movie. It's good as hell.
so good. And he's confused about why she doesn't pay her bills.
I know.
It's
I know,
like,
that's
pay your
so
bills.
funny.
What are you doing? It's like, we can't all afford fucking flight suits for inner city crime fighting.
It's a good movie. It's really fucking good. He says explicitly in the intro, like, I've been doing this for 2 years and crime has increased.
Yeah, there's explicit parallels between him and the police. It's good.
But also explicit parallels between him and the serial killer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It starts
all the
with
same thing.
POV. The first shot of the movie is a POV shot where someone is watching this, like, this mansion through high-powered binoculars.
And you presume it's Batman at the beginning, because
Right!
you expect Batman to be doing that.
Exactly!
Yeah.
But then it turns out to be the serial killer.
It's a fucking great movie.
It's so
Just
good.
owns so hard.
We should watch
actually.
that movie sometime.
It's actually really...
It is like...
I keep saying...
It's like it is like a whole evening's commitment, because it's like,
It's a good movie, though.
Is it alright if I run to the bathroom?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Cool.
Folks, we are here to raise money for Alice's Kickstarter. She is producing a horror comic anthology. It's called An Insomniac's Delights.
She has written 7 spooky stories, and she wants to pay for 7 superb artists to draw them and publish the anthology. And I really want that to happen. Do you know who else really wants that to happen?
Me!
Give me a little... look at this little hand.
Give me it!
Look at this tiny little...
Give me it! Grabby hands!
Nat,
Give me it!
Nat wants this comic to exist so badly.
Give me
She wants to hold it in her little hands.
Give me it!
Look, this is my hand. See that? See how small Nat's hands are? She would have to hold the book in both hands because her hands are so small.
I would.
But she wants to. She wants to so badly.
Give me it!
Are you gonna deprive her of that? Are you gonna keep her away from what she wants?
You wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't do that. Put the comic
I'm just a little
here.
guy.
She's just a little guy. It's gonna be fantastic. I can really, really vouch that, like, you know, I admit to being biased, but Alice is one of the most superb writers I've ever encountered. And she really, really deserves this and deserves to be out there publishing stuff. And you know what? The world deserves it as well. Just deserves, like, Alice's writing in it. So please check out the Kickstarter and pledge if you can. And if you can't pledge, or you already have pledged, please share the link or follow the Kickstarter, because that will help to boost it internally on the site. Yeah, and think of any questions that you want to ask Alice while she is here. We'll be going for about 15 more minutes. So, ask away. Anything about comics, anything about horror, about Alice's writing, about the project itself, anything that you want to ask, and yeah, we'll have about 15 more minutes. I'm taking a breath here while you all go to the Kickstarter and pledge, and then share the link and follow it on Kickstarter.
No.
Moving around the dog?
Stop.
Yeah, okay.
What if the zombies get me?
What if Nemesis is out there?
I mean, exactly.
Exactly.
I can't survive that. Oh, Gotham was awful.
Ugh, Gotham was such a fuck. I hate Gotham. It's such a bad show.
We would just watch it to get mad.
Yeah, we would put it on.
You made us hate way too much of it.
Yeah.
It was all a waste
It
of
was so
life.
fucking bad.
Like, they teased, like, Man-Bat for ages, and
Yeah.
the only shot we got of him was, like, maybe 2 seconds in, like, in the distance, like a wide shot.
Do you remember some of the earlier, like, indie comics you read?
Not early. I think. Sorry.
It's okay.
I mentioned Snot Girl already, and like that was like I started reading Snot Girl when the first trade paper came out, and then collected them one on one.
I love Snot Girl. It's such a good.
Yeah. To be fair, I have been a bit of a DC whore for a while, and it's more recently in the past couple of years that I've gotten into indie stuff.
Mm-hmm, fair enough.
I mean, Mouse and Black Hole, and you know, Watchmen and V for Vendetta and all those like classics.
Right, stuff that isn't in like a run or a canon or whatever. Yeah, totally.
Like novels. All those like if you haven't read like Black Hole or Mouse, then you haven't really studied the format.
No, I think there's definitely a distinction to be made between comic book fans and superhero fans.
Yes.
Yeah, like you might read some comic books, but if they're all superheroes, you just don't really appreciate about comic books, graphic novels. It's not, you're not really, like, as you say, like studying the form.
But like it's like, I mean, if you want to like know how the novel works, you need to read like Ulysses or some of the like great classics that like kind of formed.
Like 300 Spartans, yeah.
Yeah, I think if a writer's surname is Miller, you can skip them. And I don't just mean one particular Miller. I mean like anyone called Miller.
Wow. Is this a vendetta against other Millers that I'm not clocking right now? Oh, yeah, okay.
Mark Miller is at his worst, Frank Miller diet, and at his like best, just sort of like empty calories.
Oof. The oof is I don't disagree. I'm just like, these are...
Like, I'm speaking is... So actually, yeah, the first, like, indie comic I probably read was probably Kick-Ass.
Right.
And I got really into Hit Girl because I was, like, you know, still consciously living in the closet because it wasn't safe to come out as trans yet.
Yeah.
And like, Hit Girl was this sort of, like, futchy, badass girl.
Yeah.
Who, like, is the sort of gender that I go for. Like Spinelli in freaking...
I see that.
Was it? Yeah. But, like, yeah, if you... George Miller's great. He doesn't write comics. It's fine. George Miller's a fantastic filmmaker. Babe is a good movie. But where was I? Mark Miller... Kick-Ass is weird. I wouldn't call it, like, fashy.
I think that there is something
But
like...
it's-
No, I think there's something about, like, taking the premise of vigilantism, of superheroes, and trying to do something original with it, trying to, like, interrogate it in some way, but you're not interrogating, like...
He doesn't seem to have anything to say.
It stops
the
a bit
philosophy of it, the politics of it, the nature of, like, are there even that many, like, crimes that you could go out and stop, you know?
The thing with Kick-Ass is, if you were a teenager like Spider-Man and tried to be a superhero, you'd get killed.
He actually
Because criminals are dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and that's it. That's for depth of the analysis.
10-letter name, I really appreciate the subscription, and you also gifting the subs to Gobble Monkey and DE2AD. But this stream is actually to raise money for Alice's Kickstarter, which you can get the link to in the chat. So if you want to show some support right now, I'd actually genuinely more appreciate you go and pledge to Alice's Kickstarter, because we're trying to get it to 20% tonight.
It's already on 18, and it's like very, very close to 19.
There we go.
So like, we only need like just under 10 of you to buy a physical book.
So like I say, I appreciate the subscriptions, but tonight is about Alice's Kickstarter. So please check out Insomniac's Delights on Kickstarter. The link is in the chat.
Or honestly, if any of you have £100 that you can drop, then you can send me a reference image and you'll get drawn into the book.
Wow, nice.
Like, if it's £200, then you can get drawn in as one of the main characters.
That's cute.
If it's £100, you can get drawn in as one of the, like, side or background characters.
That's really cool.
If you give £100, could you be someone getting, like, disemboweled or beheaded or something?
Yeah. Although there isn't, like, that much, like... There is body horror, but, like, the ones that have body horror... Yeah, actually, there is, like, yeah.
Okay.
There'd only be one spot for that, so, like, if you want that, you need to tell me that.
There's someone who gets eaten.
Yeah. Because that's what I mean, there's, like, only really one, whereas, like, the other body horror stuff happens to the main characters.
Right.
True, right, you
Yeah.
need to give the 200 on it. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Okay.
So many superheroes for adults are just what if superheroes were assholes? Yeah.
I mean, kinda, yeah. I mean, that's what it took me a long time to appreciate that there was anything really worth watching about The Boys. And I think that also on some level that it took a long time for there to be much worth watching about The Boys.
Season 2
because,
is worth it.
yeah, Season 2 got a lot better, and I think there was like a really conscious reflection back on Season 1.
Yeah.
And they were thinking like,
Yeah.
what failed about this? Despite, and I think, honestly, I really applaud that, because like, when you get success with something, it's really easy to just not critique it at all and just make more of the same shit.
Because the season 1 of The Boys blew up financially and became like a cultural touchstone.
And they still came back and went like, there were problems with this.
Yeah.
We want to do better.
We didn't do the source material right.
Yeah.
And like, we can actually explore.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing. If you're doing an adult superhero story, this is why Invincible and The Boys are the better ones.
Yeah.
Rather than Kick-Ass and stuff.
Right.
Because they are exploring something that isn't superheroes. They're exploring like a American imperialism.
Yeah.
Or just a father-son bond and
Yeah.
like and masculinity as a structure.
Sure.
Or if you've read Dreadnought, then like patriarchy and like institutionalized transphobia. Dreadnought is great. Everyone go read Dreadnought.
Okay.
But like, whereas Kick-Ass is just if you try to be a superhero but real.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've just realised that Kick-Ass is most like Death Note. Is more like Death Note than anything else. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of its
I see
politics
that.
as well. Like, you can feel the fascism in it, but it doesn't really explore it. Like, it's just
Right,
there.
right.
It's like
And it's not like it's
Death
being
Note's a
like,
weird
this
series.
is good, but like, it's kind of, it's interesting.
I think in The Boys, the moment where I was like, oh, season 2 is actually going to be pretty good, was when they were showing the news. They were showing the reenactment on the news of what they claimed Billy Butcher did.
Yeah.
And because they were claiming that Billy Butcher blew up that woman's head when obviously it was actually Homelander. And she's going like, no, please, I have a baby. And then like, Billy Butcher, the guy they have playing Billy Butcher on the news goes like, shut you daft bat, or I'll bollocks ya. And I was just like, okay, this feels like a bit of a reflection on how they did the character of Billy Butcher in season 1.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, this is actually pretty okay.
I also like enjoy how they show the Seven's like movie franchises.
Yes.
And like how it's like they're making those movie franchises to make the Seven more appealing to people and less scary to people.
Yes.
In the same way that the MCU
Is full of the army.
Yeah.
It's full of tanks and guns.
does that to make you less scared of the army and more
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to go join the army.
Right, literally.
To the point that last 2 times I saw a Marvel movie, but the trailers before were like a Navy recruitment ad, a ground,
Yes.
a Marine
Yes.
recruitment ad,
Yep.
and a police recruitment
Yep,
ad.
absolutely. Never forget that like Elon Musk is in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And he like paid to have that cameo.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
And
He just bought his way into the movie and
But,
they
like,
just had him there.
and the cameo he has is like Tony Stark comes up to him and is like,
Yeah.
hey, I like your work on that thing.
I think Elon Musk says to him like, I have a cool idea for a new hypersonic jet or something, and
I
Tony
love
Stark's
how
like,
like
email it to me or something. Like they're clearly meant to actually be like friends and colleagues who respect each other.
Yeah.
It's just like fuck, it's exhausting.
Yeah. But no, yeah. I think historically I have been more into superheroes than I have been just comics in general.
Yeah.
Because like I was a film person.
Yeah.
So like I studied film. I like worked as like a story developer and a screenwriter for a while. And then like the industry is just locked off to like queer writers right now.
Yeah.
So
like
comics was like I pivoted to comics, and although it was like a plan B, I realized I'm better at writing comics than I was at films.
You're really good at writing comics.
Just because like of how my brain functions is like I am just like whenever I was writing a film, I was watching the film in my head and like typing it all out, and then like trying to structure it to be a film.
I am really desperate for this to get
films are
funded
so
because I think people
tightly
deserve to get to read comics written by you because they're going to be really fucking good.
Thank you.
What are you going to say now?
after that like Warner Brothers merger, they literally lopped off like all of the, you know, programming that was going to like like kind of diverse.
We don't want to get
stories.
towards libel.
Well, that's in it's.
No,
all
we
in the
just
news.
don't want to start
It's
expressing
simply in the
opinions
news.
about it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's
You're
just
trying.
on the news.
You're stating facts, but in
Yes.
doing it, you're steering the ship directly into like boiling
that's
hot,
as far as I'll
piranha-infested acidic water.
I said it. We're done now.
Okay, fine. Elon is the. We love you so much. Elon is the most cringe person to ever walk the earth. I present to you Doug Walker, Peter Coffin. Elon. I mean, Elon's bad. Elon. Yeah.
It's correlated with power. The more powerful
Yeah.
you are, the more cringe it is to behave that way.
Now, I'll say that being powerful gives your cringe a multiplier.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's what that means.
But I'm saying that the
Absolutely.
raw indie talent for cringe that, say, Doug Walker or, again, Peter Coffin have, right? Like, they make up so much of it without the power.
Thing is, I also I don't believe that Doug
Elon Musk.
Walker...
Oh, no, it is Elon Musk. It is actually Elon Musk, obviously.
I don't think Doug Walker or Peter Coffin think they're cool. I think they think they're maybe like a little bit cool in their circle, but they also know that they're nerdy losers. Whereas I think Elon Musk thinks he is like as cool, if not cooler, than like that Tate dude that all the men are horny
Oh
over.
god, I hate that fucking guy so much.
Yeah.
Okay, look, it is before we start talking about
Anyway.
Andrew Tate or whatever.
Sorry.
It is nearly half past, so we're gonna wrap up the stream. So I'd like to make a final big push to try to get towards 20%. Where are we at now?
We are at 18%. I can do the maths.
Okay.
To figure out how far we need to go.
Are there people in chat who have not yet pledged?
We need another £160,
Okay.
which isn't that much.
There are 40 people here. Now, I know that some people have pledged, but in theory, if everyone here went and gave £5,
Yeah.
it would get there. It would get to the 20.
Yeah, if 32 people went and gave £5, it would get us to 20.
10 letter name says, I have to make an actual account, currently making one.
Thank you.
There's a pledge on the way. Everyone else, please be like 10 letter name and go make an account on Kickstarter if you don't have one, and pledge to the Kickstarter.
And if you can't pledge, follow it.
Also,
Yeah.
again, if all you can give is a pound, that's fine. If you can give a $5, you get one of the scripts for one of the stories. So you still get to read one of the stories.
Hell yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. And I believe if you give 10, you get like a fully illustrated story, but only one story.
Can you tell us about all of the ranks of
Yeah, I can
rewards?
go to the thing.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds
Cool.
to navigate through my phone.
So for £5, you get one of the scripts of one of the stories.
Yes.
£10.
For £10, you get one fully illustrated story. Which will probably be one of the longer ones, just to be fair.
Nice.
For £15, you get the digital book. So just a PDF of the entire book.
Really cool.
£20, you also get a digital book, but you get credited in the book as well. And then for £25, you can have the book printed. Yeah. And then everything else is just like double packs and stuff like that. But like if you give £50, you can advertise your own short film or comic or Twitch channel or whatever, provided you're not like a Nazi or anything, in the book. And then like I've also mentioned £100 you can be a background character.
I think we might be past the bit where we were allowed to advertise, and I'm considering advertising remembering to stretch.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just reading through the thing. I'm done.
Yeah, £100 you can get drawn in.
You can get drawn
As a
in
background
as
character.
a background or side character.
Yeah.
Because I aren't really background characters. And £200 you can be one of the main characters.
There you go.
Which, because there's 7 stories, there's not that many. So like.
Yeah, but £200 will make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that's Insomniac's Delights. This is Alice Quinn Rose. You can follow her at AliceQRWriter on Twitter. Please go and pledge. That's all I can say, really. And then once you have pledged, or if you can't pledge, please go and share it. Follow the Kickstarter. That will help too. And I guess other than that, last word to you. Anything you want to say?
Please help us get to 20% because it will really help. And I really want to tell these stories and let you read them. But we can't do that unless I have the money to like compensate all of the artists properly.
Absolutely.
So thank you. Go to the page.
Okay, good night, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm gonna quickly pick someone to raid into. If people could go and tell them when you're in that chat.
Oh yeah.
To go to Insomniac's Delights on Kickstarter. In fact, we're going to raid into DJ Mule. That'll be a very receptive audience to go and tell about the Kickstarter. 10 Letter Name has just pledged. There you go.
Yay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, 10 Letter Name, and thank you so much to everyone who's pledged tonight, and everyone who's watched, and everyone who's hung out, and to the few people who subscribed to the channel while we're doing it as well. Hope you all have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye.
We're £80 away from 20.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That was like a huge dip.